Hi everybody, hi every spirit, welcome very much to the channel. Today the sun is in 0 degrees Gemini and we are going to talk about it. Thank you for watching, leave a like and subscribe and let's get started. What it means, the sun being in Gemini. The sun represents our actions, expressions, visions, our individuality, our uniqueness, our ego, how we see the world, how we think others see us as well. Gemini is mutable air, the ability to be mutable and adaptable with yours and others' thoughts, ideas, ways to think, communicate, and analyze. So, Sun in Gemini means that we and everybody else, especially because of that mutable element, we and everybody else will be looking into, wanting to participate, wanting to express, and wanting to be seen in more light, logical, intellectual, surface level, and a part of something or a part of a conversation, a part of a group, a part of a subject or a theme that makes us feel connected, that makes us feel a part of something, or that makes us look a part of something. Because Gemini is a lot about feeling less than others, or like even though they're feeling a weird way, they know they can look in a certain way, they know they can associate with certain things, they know they can maintain certain relationships, and because they feel less than others, they can tolerate a bit more and also be a bit more toxic or a bit more not present or a bit less purposeful in general. And that's also a good thing sometimes, especially if you live in an area or around people that they are trying to always put their visions on you. They're always smothering your own vision with their own vision. With Sun in Gemini, you can see those things in a lighter way, and you can, if you are a strong spirit, you will feel less smothered. But if you are a gullible spirit, you will be replacing your own visions and thoughts with the surroundings visions and thoughts. So be careful with that. In general, this will bring more lightness, more logicality, and more surface level type conversations to our relationships, to our interactions in general, to how we look at the world, to how we see our environment, and how we see ourselves into that environment. Because Gemini was born out of the third house, so it has everything to do with your environment, physically speaking, and people that are a part of your environment, people that are a part of your surroundings, but they're not an important part of it. So, like the homeless on the street, if you're at school, the teachers, other kids that are not like really your friends, if you're at work, your co-workers, and even your boss, like everybody that you see in your day-to-day basis are a part of your surroundings. So with Sun and Gemini, you can see them more, or you can see more of them, or they can see more of you, or they can pay more attention to you, or they will see you in a different light. More likely than not, a more light, detached, and cold way. But if you have story, if you have some beef, or if you already have a connection, they can change, because mutable and air, so it's a super changeable, super malleable energy, because air and fire are the lightest, the easiest to change elements, and then immutable just brings even a bigger charge to that change of form, change of speed, change of density type thing, to how you and others will be seeing each other and yourself as well. All right? So, if you have Sun, Moon, or Rising in Jupiter, in Saturn, in Sagittarius, in Pisces, or Virgo, you are now squaring the Sun. So, all those signs, Pisces, Sag, and Virgo, are learning something new, or they are forced, they're feeling that tension. There is no way to escape this learning lesson. And what is a learning lesson? For Pisces, learn how to be a bit more intellectual, learn how to be a bit more sociable, learn how to be a bit more real while keeping it light, keeping it cold and detached. Also, very important lesson for Pisces, keeping it detached. Still the connection, still the mutability is there, but keep it cool. Literally, keep it a bit more detached, because Venus is exalted in Pisces. So Pisces go extreme with love, appreciation, and connection, but not everybody and not every place or everything deserve and even wants your connection. So with Gemini, it just helps bring balance. You can still feel the way Pisces do, but and not get so attached or not get so drained or draining certain people, places, and things. Sagittarius, you are opposing. So opposing, it's a big opportunity and a big learning lesson. It's kind of a sextile and a square all together. And you have no way to dodge this as well. All right? So it's a big opportunity or a big opposition. So how can it be an opportunity? It can be a balancing point. So you have, as a Sagittarius, you have all your spirituality, all of your belief, faith, imagination, creativity, visions, feelings, and expressions in a way to expand, obtain, and share wisdom, knowledge, and your own testimonies. And now with the Sun in Gemini, you can see or be seen in a more logical way. Still, all the same elements, all the same communication, knowledge, wisdom, sharing, thinking out of the box, being a bit more uplight, being a bit more on the fun and positive side of things. But now you want to, or you are learning to see yourself and the world and act in a more cold, logical, and detached way. So basically, you just have this big opportunity to learn how to come across, communicate, think, and analyze in a more cold, detached, and intellectual way. Because remember that Gemini is ruled by Mercury as well. It's the external side of Mercury. And Virgos, the other mercurial side, they're learning to basically do what they already do, but be a bit more light, be a bit more open, worry a bit less, think a bit less, talk a bit more, don't connect as much, don't think others care as much about situations, practicality, limits, boundaries, contracts, productivity, or efficiency as you do. And you don't need to take those things so seriously. Those are means to an end. They are not the end. A lot of Virgos develop mental issues or relationship issues because they take the routine, the pattern, the look, the pristine status too far, right? And Gemini is now teaching them, hey, actually, if you look a bit cooler, if you look a bit lighter, if you look a bit fresh, and if you see yourself and you allow yourself to be a bit silly, to be a bit of the Joker, to be a bit more dumb, quote unquote, as in you don't worry so much in proving others right, you don't worry so much in looking right, in looking organized, in looking straight, because it's important to do that, but Virgos take it to another step, right? Because of the mutable element, they tend to associate that with others' realities, so automatically by default, they're always comparing their own circumstance with other circumstance, and in their minds they be creating scenarios. They be even things that they don't know. They be imagining if that person, how that person organized themselves, how they live their life, is their routine and pattern sufficient and pleasurable. Then they start to compare that with their own lives, with things they don't even know. And Gemini is just like, hey bro, just stop doing that. All right, let's go to the party, have fun, talk with people, share new knowledge, share new ways to think, communicate, and analyze, because both are mercurial signs. And Gemini is here really through a bit of tension and harsh love, and a bit of detachment, a bit of separation. He's here taking the Virgos out of the depths of their own well. Okay? So, now let's see how the Sun in Gemini is aligning with the rest of the sky. We have Mercury in Taurus, fatal attracting the Sun in Gemini. So, we are thinking and communicating and analyzing still in a more fixed, consistent, or stubborn way, and preferentially or more about practicality, security, structure, and privacy that we can keep receiving via us supporting somebody or being supported ourselves. But Sun in Gemini will help you using that Taurus Mercury in events and scenarios that are more light. So actually our mind can ground us a little bit more, and the Sun in Gemini can help the insecurities or the extra pressure of Taurus get lifted or get shared. You can find conversations, people, things, places to help lift that weight of Taurus without losing the seriousness, the practicality, the beauty, and efficiency and profitability of your own mind and what you value intellectually. Then we have Venus in Aries, sextiling Sun in Gemini, so an opportunity to see our passionate, intense, recklessness, or aggressive relationships, commitment, love, and pleasures. We have an opportunity to see all that and act on them or be acted upon because of the mutable element in a more light, cold, and detached way. So this is a good opportunity actually. It will make it easier for more intense relationships, for more clashing relationships, or for new intentions, passions, or frustrations to flourish in a relationship, but still cool, right? Because Sun in Gemini is bringing some coolness. Venus in Aries was already hot, and then can bring some coolness. And even though you might not be in the same wavelength, the Sun in Gemini will bring that bridge, or you guys have the opportunity to both see and build the bridge together. Even though you're in different places, you value different things, there is an extra opportunity to communicate, think, and analyze on your actions and expressions together in a relationship or what you relate, commit, and love, and then be more surface level, take things less deep, and focus on the relation itself, focus on the commitment itself, focus actually on the interaction instead of everything else around it. Negatively, what can happen here is you or what you're relating or committing with might not be so serious or purposeful. Then when certain passions or frustrations arise, because you're not caring so much, you're not so deep, you're not so committed, it can be weird and the relationship can tear off real easily. But if you're in a purposeful relationship, Sun in Gemini will help things just come out and flourish, and everything will be more light. You might go through some explosions, you might go through some embarrassments or some naive type energy, but in the end of the day, it will be an opportunity to make things light, more flexible, and adaptable. Then we have Jupiter in Gemini, very important. No, first before that, Mars in Leo, another sextile between the Sun and a fire element. So with Sun in Gemini and Mars in Leo, there is an opportunity to think, communicate, analyze, act, express, and see your fixed and consistent personality, personal interests, personal insecurities, passion, motivation, anger, and frustration. So there is an opportunity to act, see, and express about those things, or in areas or with people that are about those things in a more light, cold, detached, logical, and connected way. So there is an opportunity to communicate. Even others could be the ones spreading your personal passions that you see or are seen from in a consistent, fixed, or stubborn way. So also, Sun in Gemini can help some of that stubbornness be transformed into consistency. So take one step back, bring a bit more light to that situation. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes consistency transforms into stubbornness, avoiding some learning, some progress, and Sun in Gemini can bring that step back. So whatever passion or frustration you fixed with your vision, attention, and expressions can now still be consistent, still be fixed, but still find room to evolve and develop. On the negative side, you or others can see your personal passions, interests, or frustrations that you are fixed and you are stubborn about. You or everybody else now can start to see them in a more light way, in a less purposeful way, in a less intent way, in a less caring way. So it can be an opportunity to spread your consistent fire, or an opportunity to lose value or to lose intention when looking, acting, or communicating about those fixed or stubborn passions, frustrations, and personality circumstances. Then we have Sun in Gemini conjuncting Jupiter. So a big opportunity here, and it's already happening by default, but if you are aware of it, you'll be in control and you can direct this, which is a big opportunity to expand, travel, and obtain wisdom and knowledge from your own uniqueness, your own individuality, your own ego, if you express, act, see, think, communicate, and analyze in a more logical way, in a more cold way, in a more mutable way, and in a more intellectual, surface level way, but while or about having still that sense of uniqueness and individuality, while still having a strong will, having a strong spirit, because Gemini brings to the sun some refreshment, a better way to communicate, a better way to connect with other suns. And then instead of being one star, you're a part of a constellation. But if you're not the star, if you don't have all that pressure containing your energy, if you don't have that will to become better, to evolve, to always be seen in your best light, for an example, then Sun in Gemini will actually, especially conjuncting Jupiter, will be a negative opportunity to get scattered, to be more gullible, to be less valuable, to be more surface level in your own thoughts, your ideas, your wisdom, your knowledge, your ability to make others see your point. So there is an opportunity to expand your sun, to make it grow, or there's an opportunity to make it scattered and lose power. Also, just be careful to not go too much into logic and rationality. You might lose the point. You might stop seeing that the spirit creates the reality, and you might think that reality owns everything and that reality can't be changed, but that's not true. We change and help create reality every single day. The more you focus, the more you pay attention to something, the more power you have over it, all right? Then we have Saturn in Pisces squaring the Sun in Gemini. So this is learning how to act, see, express, think, communicate, and analyze about spiritual structures, about spiritual concepts, and about spiritual manipulation or expansion via structure, networking, or infrastructure in the real world. So learning how to see those things and act about them in a more light, cold, and detached way. Positive point here, if there is some form of manipulation, if there is some form of a spiritual, mentally, and emotional smothering from a structure, from an organization, from a family member, you can detach easier from it and you can make sense out of it, so you can dodge and keep your personality and keep your individuality while keeping that connection going, while keep the word flowing, but knowing how to not fall for those traps, for those manipulations, for those passive-aggressive, from those toxicities, from those illusions or dreams, and and negatively, you can just not care to go so deep with your visions. You might not be thinking all that much, or you might be not trusting your own conclusions, and then you go into an illusion structure. You go and be kidnapped mentally and emotionally by an organization, by a limit, by a boundary, by an infrastructure, by a way of thinking, and then you build your reality, you build your structure, or you associate your own structure with a faulty, illusionary, not structurized structure, because Saturn in Pisces is all about that. It's taking a spiritual concept and create something out of it, and that could be manipulation, that could be self-improving, that could be gaslighting, that could be understanding how spirit creates reality. So with Sun in Gemini, we're learning how to be more detached about organizations that can use manipulation or can use spiritual practices to get away with things. And now we can learn how to be detached about it and be more cold and more practical about it, be less emotional, be less attached to it, so you can dodge those things, still participate, still use them for your benefit, but not be used by it. Or you just can not see the whole picture. You might not care about thinking so much, and then you'll be captured and used or associated with certain organizations, infrastructures of ways of thinking that are not profitable for you and the world in general. Then you have Uranus in Taurus, fatal attracting Sun in Gemini as well. So seeing change, opposition, and rebelliousness that deal with practicality, structure, profit, and love in a fixed, consistent, or stubborn way. And the Sun in Gemini can help see that and act on that with a fresher light, a more light perspective, a more disconnected and a more carefree nature. This can lead to if you're already going through some changes when it comes to your profit or your security, now you can see it or act on it in a lighter way. Things can get easier for you through some communications, through some new ideas that you're able to associate with your surroundings, or some people that might be messing with new innovations, they might be changing some things, they might be too carefree, they might be too light, and they're not prepared for the consequences of the changes of the opposition in areas that require more stability, structure for survivability or comfort. We have Neptune in Pisces, sextiling the Sun in Gemini, so an opportunity to see, act and express in a more light, cold and detached way about new feelings, new expressions, passions or frustrations derived from grand illusions, grand imaginations, grand dreams, or grand spiritual knowledge like connecting to your past lives or whatever. And last but not least, this one is very, very important. Sun in Gemini, trining Pluto in Aquarius. A gift to see, act, express, think, communicate, and analyze the new world in a more light, fresh, mutable, flexible, and surface level way. So what is the new world? What is Pluto in Aquarius? A world where everybody will have their unique community, where there is a unique mind, a unique perspective, a unique way to think, communicate, and analyze, but still about reality, about progress, about consistency, and about support. So the gift of the Sun in Gemini can be, it's easier to communicate, it's easier to connect, it's easier to think, it's easier to come up with ideas, it's easier to expand, it's easier to be clear and fresh. Or there's also a negative gift, which is taking things too lightly, not go deep enough, be too surface level, be too gullible, sacrificing yourself to obtain some physical or social comfort. You know what I'm saying? But in the end of the day, I think it's a positive aspect because it can help us mentally and with our actions and individuality go in smoothly into this new world, and we can even accelerate the process of us transforming into this new world so we can be ahead of the curve and not be transformed by the world. We'll be the ones transforming the world, and then because we are ahead of the curve, we can profit way more than the other spirits that come afterwards. Like if you bought Bitcoin back in the day, you're making way more profit than buying Bitcoin now because you were ahead of the curve. You know what I'm saying? That's everything for today. Sun in Gemini seems to be here a lot of good alignments, sextiling Venus in Aries, sextiling Mars in Leo, fatal attracting Mercury in Taurus, trining Pluto in Aquarius. So bringing a lot of help, lifting pressure, making things look easier and more rapid, more fast, but also that square with Saturn will bring a lot of learning opportunities and a lot of learning lessons that will be hard to comprehend because it's like two extreme parts. It's like Saturn in Pisces, understanding for real how spirituality and spiritual connection creates reality, and then being able to see and communicate about it in a normal way, in a relatable way, in a logical way. It will take, you will see things that you never seen before, and then it's not just seeing them, it's actually communicate or make sense out of them that can be the challenge. But you can do it if you are a powerful spirit. Thank you for watching. I wish you the best thoughts, ideas, feelings, and emotions, and a whole bunch of individuality, creativity, and responsibility as well. Remember to believe in yourself and in all possibilities. Until the next time, I wish you the best. See you soon.